Okay, a motion to come out of executive session?
Second?
All in favor? It's 5:36 and we're back in session, no action taken.
Yeah.
Just 1 second.
Go ahead, Brady.
We have drafted a new fire department ordinance. We pared it down. We want it to be just the basic rules so that we don't have to change it every 2 or 3 years. But we want it to cover everything. So I've passed it out so that everybody can look at it again. Please get back to me if you see anything that needs to be changed. Otherwise, I'm going to send it to legal, and I want to be able to put this on the town warrant when we do actually have an annual town meeting. So it's nothing that you need to tell me, right?
We just got it too, Chad, so you,
Yeah.
at your leisure, you can
You've
get
all
back
seen
to her after you read it.
multiple times,
Yeah.
but
I read through it, just skimming through it, it all looks really good to me. I can't think of anything else that can be in there, but I can definitely
yeah.
Yep, that,
Okay,
get back to you.
yep,
we'll do the same.
good.
We all set with
Yep,
Yep,
yep.
thank you.
Thank you,
that?
Jack.
My second COVID shot.
Oh,
Oh,
good luck.
Vaccine's up today. Thank you guys
that's
very
good
much.
news.
Thanks.
Item B, annual town warrant.
Okay. Did I give you copies? Yes, I did. I just wanted to go over it a little bit because even though we don't know when we're having town meeting, there are obviously some things we're gonna have to change.
You didn't send us a copy.
No, I didn't send you a copy because I don't think you actually need to go over this, but
Okay.
I wanted you to have it in front of you when I was going over it. It's hard to, if I'm reading along going, okay, this needs to change and that needs to change, you can follow along and throw them on your way out if you want to.
No, happen.
You don't
Yeah,
have
we-
one?
No,
No.
Where did
no.
I put them? Do I have them all here? No? I copied them. What do you bet they're in the copier?
There's some stuff over there.
Oh,
That was the Chad. That's the fire department. I bet they're in the copier.
okay.
They're in the copier. So there's one copy.
Thank you.
There's two
Yep.
and three. Okay, so obviously all dates have to change. Oh, here we go. I believe in terms of school board, we have one person up. I think it's Danny's seat.
Can we, so we're gonna do this as if we're actually gonna do it?
Well, I just want to run through the things.
No, I know, but right under greetings, it says fire station. We're not gonna do that, right?
It says right under the greetings. Where does it say fire station?
Under greetings?
Did I copy the wrong one?
Well,
Does it say March
all I'll
12th?
say is that at the very, it says Lois
I copied
Jones.
the wrong one for you. I give up.
Okay,
Throw them away.
Ah, That's
let me
a lot
just
of
hit-
dead trees.
Yeah, let me just hit some highlights.
Kinley.
The maximum for interest charge on unpaid taxes went down from 8 to a range, which is 4 to 6%.
Wow, they cut it quite a bit.
They did. And so we'll have to decide.
6.
Six.
easy.
That's no,
We
That's
do the
still a
maximum.
great reduction.
It is.
Yeah.
I knew you guys would say that. As far as
Easy
the date, for 2%, I can't. I'm not sure I can read it. It's gonna have to be July 30th instead of the 31st, because the 30th is a Friday. Article 9 had to do with the cemetery lots. As you know, we will have 2 articles on that. I'm still paring them down because after talking to MMA, they were both this long, and I was like, this is not. So basically, I'm going to ask that you be allowed to set the price for cemetery lots, to sell them, and to put the minimum required by state law into perpetual care.
And we were gonna bundle the county filing fee in there too. I don't know if that language needs to be in there, but.
Yes, and then the other one was that, that you would be setting policy, and it would be policy for all fees as well as, you know, times and what you can do and what you can't do. And, you know, you are the policymakers, but apparently when it comes to spending money, you have to have the legislative approval to
Right.
set those things. So that's what the second article will be about. Okay, we have in here, to see if the town will allow the municipal officers to accept revenue generated from certain fines and fees related to dog licensing and the town's dog ordinance, and expend such in administration of dog control. I don't know why that's in there. That's state law. You have to. So I guess I will just,
Take it out?
I'll ask MMA why if they think we have to have it in there. That's part of what we went through in the audit, as to which funds were set by state law that had to go into that.
Oh, then it's not a question, right?
It's not really a question.
I
No?
wouldn't dare to say it unless,
Yeah, I
like one of
won't,
those dumb things, this is a law, but you still have to have.
yeah, I won't take it out until
Approval.
somebody tells me, but
Okay.
it's state law, so.
Hmm.
Article 17, again, the discount and the rounding of cents. Again, you just have to change the date. Article 18 is obviously going to have to change its, where the money is coming from. We don't know, these numbers from last year aren't going to be the same this year.
But we will, in theory, before we have our town meeting. So if there's a shortfall or there's a slush fund, we'll be able to make an adjustment.
Sure.
Right,
On a warrant.
yeah, we don't know what it's going,
Correct.
what it's going to say, it's just going to be a big,
But it's entirely possible that there'll be other monies that we want to adjust as well.
Correct.
It could be for more paving or a new town office or who knows.
Article 22 was, we raised appropriated funds for animal welfare. We may not have to raise any funds this year, we might have enough from the previous 2 or 3 years in that account to actually fund it. Health and sanitation. Jack Kluge, I asked him in early December what he thought our fees were gonna look like, and I haven't heard from him since. But I heard from him this week. Now, we've got a major jump here.
We had it cut for 1 year. Wasn't it 1 year?
Imagine that.
And we were gonna change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they gotta
So,
talk about that again.
Yeah, maybe it's time to bring that up again.
We paid,
What was the jump? Because that's, you sent that to us.
yeah, it's,
He claims it's because of COVID and because of people staying
people
home and
doing clean it
doing
up.
home projects.
Yeah.
well, it's also because we were landfilling.
So it's fiber rate, isn't
Right.
didn't have anything go to fiber rates, you had to landfill everything.
So in 2019, we spent almost 45,000. Last year, they set it at 47,250. This year, they're setting it at 53,360. So we're talking just over 6,000.
So reach out to Dexter, let's ask.
No, that's like a 15% increase
Yeah.
in 1 year.
It's crazy.
I know, the problem is we're on the hook for that landfill, whether we use it or not. And we still haven't gotten to the bottom of that. I mean, I don't know if there's anything to get to the bottom of.
Yeah, legal says, yeah, you could be.
Right, yeah, that was not helpful.
Um,
Yeah.
But in terms of running on last year's budget,
I agree with Dale, we ought to call Dexter.
yeah.
They were very responsive once before, maybe they will be again. And if it doesn't change, if there's liability down the road for Sangerville with the existing landfill, it exists whether we give them $60,000 a year or not. So,
And really, that's what you kinda gotta remember about the whole warrant is you don't have to have the budget in there because we've already passed it. You just gotta keep the numbers going in the spreadsheet or just keeping track of them, because if we do have a town meeting, you don't have to ask for that money, you gotta ask the difference in money from what we've approved to what we think we're gonna be short on.
Correct.
So,
Yep, that's right.
and you never know, we may be okay in some areas and,
correct.
Mm-hmm.
But like, in this case, this line is,
Well, we know the county went up 20 grand, this one just went up 6.
Yep.
We're not headed in the right direction so far, are we?
the county, yeah, the county, is not in the budget, so.
but how much over can we
So-
be? What's the percentage in the category?
I don't know.
I mean, that's the other thing to remember is you don't, there's a little bit of room here, you don't have to be
Spot on.
correct.
Well, you have 10,000 sitting contingency.
So,
But at the end of the day,
It's,
we're gonna come to meeting, and we passed last year's budget, and here's what we need in addition to that.
yeah,
Or we're gonna pave less road, or we're
Yeah.
gonna make adjustments.
Right.
And whether we have that meeting in July or April is when we'll
right.
square up.
But until we know when we're gonna have a meeting, you're not gonna have any idea what kind of numbers we need anyway.
no,
Yep.
no.
When will we know on revenue sharing, do you know that?
We do know revenue sharing. Last year we got 34 something, this year it's going to be 31 something.
Well, that's not too bad. I
No,
thought it was gonna be worse.
that's what they're telling us. It's going to-
Okay.
So, no, it's not. I don't know on Homestead yet, but I was reading the law, and the law says that they should be 100% funding that this year, but I somehow doubt
Correct.
that will ever appear. So I don't know what, where they'll think. But that one isn't decided yet. That was all the budgetary ones. Article 36 was, we did a 3-year contract for roadside mowing. We will need to do, we may need to do something for plowing this year, because the news contract is up and
Yeah, so we have to do something.
we'll have to do something. It may be another article for a multiple year contract. I was approached with an offer. I don't know.
A different offer from a different fund?
Oh, I've had at least one other person ask about plowing contracts, but I don't know how we set this up. Do we set it up? Previously, we've done single and multiple years. We've
Yeah.
done
With or without sand.
with or without sand.
That's what we do. With or without quote, when actually we talked about with or without loader.
Yeah, we should definitely talk about that. And it's not too early to get the ball rolling on that.
I've updated most of it, and I had it done back in January when we all of a sudden were not going to go through the budget process, and so I haven't put those out. I will bring it to the board next meeting just for approval. I'll send it to you beforehand, so you can tell me if you see anything.
Sure, just email it to us, but
Yeah.
you can seek quotes
Yeah.
anyway, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Those will go out and,
I mean, we always get 2 or 3,
Usually,
4 people put in for it, so.
no. I have a list and I'll send it off to everybody I can
Good,
think of, and
good.
we'll go from there. Obviously, we're removing things like the article on repaying ourselves money, or the American Legion stuff. The one that will have to stay is the Smart Trust Fund. And because we put an estimated donation in there, like for 2020, we said the estimated donation for this trust fund is $3,200. We'll have to do that every year. And then whatever you, so you want it to be more than you, less than you actually get, because the rest of it transfers over to the next year's education fund. I don't know what you do if you don't get what you think you're going to get, if the negative hits that fund or what, I don't know, so I
Just
guess
put a
we.
buck,
You what?
put a buck, and it's always over.
Yeah, well, maybe, yeah, you maybe don't hit. I've got to work out a good process with the auditor on how to do that, because those were the big ones, but obviously we have things, like I'd like to have the fire department ordinance on there, I'd like to have shoreline zoning cleaned up. We won't have a cemetery ordinance because basically we'll just ask the town to approve you to deal with cemeteries. We did, I will say, have a much better year this year in terms of, I didn't spend as much time
That's good.
of the cemeteries to figure out who was buried where. And, but I still think we need some more rules. And some more, and once we have more rules, I can set procedures in as to how we track things. So that's basically the things I wanted on the warrant. Is there anything I'm forgetting that we've gone over this year that?
Well, do we want to ask a question about a new building?
Yes.
I'd like to have something in place so we're actually requesting funds for a new building.
Yeah.
I think we have work to do to get there, but
Yeah, we do.
But if we don't, then we're just gonna be,
we're never gonna do it,
we're
if we
not,
don't get it
right,
done.
right.
We have some preliminary numbers from,
Mr. Lander.
we had those, but no,
From, wait. Nick, wait.
Nick Wade.
I think we really need a floor plan, and it needs to go to a contractor, and they need to say this is what it's gonna cost, and that's what we need to take to the town. Because if you don't actually have a number, you're gonna, you know what's gonna happen. Well, how did you come up with that? Or what if it's this, or what if it's that, or?
Well, it's all reasonable. I mean, you gotta have a number. If you're gonna ask to build a building, you gotta be able to tell them approximately what it's gonna cost.
And I would rather be prepared and be that much on the pro side of it and serious about it, that this
Yeah.
is what it's gonna cost.
Yeah,
Okay, so we need to get back to Nick as to exactly what we.
Yeah, and I, honestly, to be fair to Lander or whoever, quote, everything I'm hearing is building materials have gone through the roof.
They have,
So we need fresh numbers.
we do. Well, I think Nick's numbers are probably closer, but he was guarding his contractor's information pretty.
yeah. So he got I remember now, yeah, that's right.
It's time for us to really nail down what it's gonna look like and what it's gonna cost. And where we're gonna put it.
Right.
Right, 'cause I mean, if you, a general number, they're gonna throw in, well, they don't know, do you wanna put in $500 windows, or do you wanna put in
Yeah.
$2,000 window? You know, I mean, and so they're gonna give you a number, same way with the carpet or siding, or, I mean, a contractor's not gonna give you about number, he's gonna go high on everything, cause he's not really sure where you're gonna bring it in at, so.
I looked at those numbers and then I went over and I took pictures of Parkman's place and I just couldn't comprehend spending that amount of money to build what they have in Parkman. And I think what they have in Parkman would pretty much work for us. I mean, ours would be updated, obviously, but the footprint,
Parkman built theirs themselves.
yeah, and I'm sure it wasn't $300,000.
I think that would give them a heart attack.
No, but I mean, that's the big difference when they're doing something like that, is when it comes to the windows and flooring and siding and the numbers of, if you wanna build a decent building is one price, well, the numbers if you wanna build something superb, that, you can double your building cost easily. Just on trinkets, I guess would be a better word, I mean.
Well, and if it's a commercial building versus just sort of privately built building, you know, and there's a question now as far as, ventilation in a building. You know, all those sorts of things that,
Well, I'm really wondering too, there's all kinds of COVID money out there, is there anything about that? Because with COVID and in bathrooms and cleanliness and cleaning surfaces and, you know, moving away from the carpeting and wood surfaces to more polymers and things that bacteria can easily be wiped off from and cleaned up from and things like that. So air handling systems is all part of that. So, I mean, there may be something there to be wondering about too. It could be huge dollars. So,
Efficiency Maine just sent me something about HVAC, as well as lighting. There's some monies out there.
yeah, they're really big on LEDs and heat pumps right now.
Yep.
Anything else I don't really wanna.
Right.
so we gotta move on that.
Yep.
We've gotta, that's the goal, is that it has to be,
If we don't have it ready for this,
it's not gonna happen.
it's not gonna happen.
No.
The other thing, and I know this really falls under road commissioner, but we should have a plan for, you know, what are the next roads? That all should be in the town report, I think. We know what, you know, but East Sangerville and beyond.
Well, obviously, we have to finish East Sangerville. From what I've seen in various little files, Flanders Hill is one of the paved roads that we should look at. We haven't done any in town.
No, Dale and I were just chatting a few weeks ago about, there's some in-town roads that are really wanting.
Yeah.
And I know we've been stepping this up as a lot compared to years past, but Flanders Hill, if that doesn't get done before too long, it's not gonna be reclaimable. You know, the first mile of Silver's Mills was done 15, 16 years ago. And the way that's broke up over the last year, if that goes too many more years, that's not gonna be reclaimable. So those are some of the things that we really gotta get ahead on, is being able to get these before they turn into what that midsection really ended up, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So I guess we're all on the same page as where we need to.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
No, there's plenty of,
And then you have all the gravel roads. And obviously, we know the line road needs to be done and done right, not just throw more gravel at it.
we still have a problem there with,
We still do.
yeah, nothing's really changed. Flanders Hill, the gravel portion of Flanders Hill, probably before we would go finishing that, we've got a lot of paved areas that need to be addressed first, but ultimately, do we wanna reconnect those two ends? That was the original plan, I thought.
So,
I'm all for that to come up with, if we can, what'd be awesome would be to tackle that spring hole, mud hole, whatever you wanna call it, right in that corner. And dig that, if we dug that out this year early and go with that big stone theory in there, to see if that would drain out the way it should, and if that held good, then it would definitely, I think it'd be definitely worth connecting that. But it'd be kinda too bad to do nothing and just connect it, knowing that you got that big soup every spring underneath it.
How long is that? Is that a mile that's unpaved?
Unpaved? I went out to, the first Cleves field was 1.2 miles, so no, it's not a mile.
So much.
But I could be wrong, I just suspect if we put that on the list, you're gonna have to have every other paved road done before you add a new one.
right, paving one that isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, cause it's a very nice gravel road, once, so the
I
wet
would-
area is in that 90-degree?
It's right when you're, I mean, it's coming from the store in, it's
Oh, okay.
right before you get to
Oh,
the
all
corner.
right,
It's
all right.
right there, and you'll, a couple more, well, won't be that many more weeks, you're gonna find it.
I don't travel then, but,
Well, it's a good one, it really is.
but definitely in town.
Yep.
Now, within town, are we going to tear everything up, or are we just doing a,
Some of these are dead-end roads, you know, like Mill Street. I mean, you probably could shim and pave it and be good for another,
I think a lot of these.
15 years.
Yeah, because they're not getting that through
right,
traffic.
and they're not
you know?
getting logging trucks
Right,
and,
right.
The only heavy
Residential.
traffic they're getting is when the old delivery truck comes in. I
Mm-hmm,
mean,
that's it.
That's it,
That's it.
there's nothing else that's on
That's
any
right.
of them. Yours was the only, up your way was the only road that we have that has any traffic at all as far as in town,
Yep.
nobody else gets that.
another thing we should put on the list is, on the French's Mills Road, where number 10 road connects, there's a very sharp turn there. And that, I think the turn is probably part of it, but those heavy vehicles, that pavement is just coming apart there. And, if we could patch that corner again, that probably would be worth,
Hold it for a while.
yeah, otherwise it's just gonna come apart. There's a lot of logging that comes across there,
Really?
yeah, it's amazing.
Shortcutting through, or are they logging off of?
I don't think they're pulling it off from the French's Mills Road itself, it must be coming from the Silver's Mills Road and coming across the 23. But there's big trucks every day,
Really?
yeah,
Full size?
fully loaded.
Whoa.
So they must be coming down Route 7, and you think, and coming up that way, and just cutting
Yeah,
across
maybe
here
they're cutting across to something towards Skowhegan, I don't know. But if you're out there sometime, just note that turn, you'll see that pavement is just giving way, and I think it's just not engineered for what it's getting, that's all.
Right.
But, so if we're out and we could fix that, it might be worth putting a little bit of money into that corner. And speaking of that road, I don't think that log has been pulled out of that guardrail yet. I didn't come that way. My wife walked it earlier in the week and it was still there, so.
I swear you told me you removed that.
I'll go home that way.
If you're going home that way, slow down on the bumps on Silver's Mills, just wanted you now. Don't forget them.
It's pretty bad between you and where we just started. That whole piece is really bad.
That's about the mile. That
So
was
you're
done.
thinking we start at the bridge and go back towards you?
Or start at 23 and go in as far as you wanna go, but yeah, I'd go to the bridge. You know, really, cause that's,
Yeah.
I think originally, if I remember right, that was done it stopped just after me, the year we bought that house. And then after that, they tried adding gravel before Bob Brown's, right after.
Yep.
So that used to be nice and flat like this, but they added gravel in there and they didn't layer it right, and that's why now when it's like a
Oh.
washboard up through there, that's kinda discombobulated, but if we could reclaim it.
Yep.
And then grade it, that would take care of that, and then you got Bob's culvert, which is that's another one that's always been a nightmare.
That'll knock
How's
the teeth
how's
out.
the other one, the new one?
It's last week, it just started to have a little bit of a hit in it, but I mean, the frost is really, the last week or so on the roads, you can really see the difference. So that frost is just really starting to come in, so, but it's gonna be in the 40s next week, so. Spring's coming, so.
But overall, I would say that culvert,
Oh, it's a 20,000 time improvement.
Significant
Any
improvement.
Any culvert on Silver's Mills, there's no doubt about it.
alright. Yeah, and just in general, I think it's not too early to start getting your graders lined up, all of it. So when you're calling them, they're not saying, well, I'm kinda
Yeah,
busy
you're
for the next.
behind the X, Y, and Z.
Well, that's what I think would be really good, if we could come up with a good plan. These are the things we need to do. These are my, do 1, 2, 3's priorities.
Yeah.
These I need done by this I don't care, I want it done during the summer. Maybe even contractually, it would be cheaper, or we would get a better deal, because the guys would say, oh, you don't care when that's done, you just need it done this summer? they can fit that in when they need it in their schedule as a fill-in, and maybe we could get stuff done cheaper. Rather than say, everything always has to have a date.
I'll call Jeff Libby, see, he and I have been talking about getting a big load of culverts so that we can get better pricing. I'll call people with graders and people with,
Good.
Yeah, might as well
Good.
get on
Line 'em
their
up. Line
calendar.
'em up.
Oh, Roundy's has I heard Roundy's bought a sweeper too.
Oh, good.
Yep, so Jeff hit me up, the other day about it. About me and him as far as the mill with the parking lots to see if, you know, if he used them up there, if they would, and I did it at the same time, if we could get a better rate or.
you know,
One thing, you know, we've kind of danced around the line road. We know we got to, you know, because we share ownership of that road with Dover Foxtrot. Do we want to see if they have any interest of tackling that project and splitting it with us, or do we just not want to go there? I mean,
Well, I'm pretty sure they're gonna tell you that's your end, we do the other end.
or they'll do the left side, we'll do the right side?
No, because we did a project like that already with them. We did
Well,
that.
this is a big project though.
I'm pretty sure you're gonna find it's our end.
Yeah, so that's not gonna fly.
You mean it's all in Sangerville?
Yeah, the crappy end is in our end.
Well, no, I mean, the other end is equally as crappy, but they
Yeah,
put a
but-
ton of gravel on it over the years, so. It would be interesting, somebody somewhere, and I know exactly, we talked about this a million times already here. In theory, the line is up the middle, one side ours is one side theirs.
Right.
But somewhere, somebody's come up with an agreement where
It's cut.
you're doing one, I'm doing the other.
Perpendicular.
We do the same thing on plowing, I mean,
But
Yeah.
Brady hasn't been able to find it.
correct, but I wonder if
Lois-
Dover has it.
Well, I asked Dover,
And what did they say? They don't have anything.
they don't have anything.
So if you don't have anything,
Send
it's
them the
what
bill.
it's what you said it is. It's, they own one side, we own the other side.
That's exactly correct.
But Lois swears she saw it and she gave me some dates, I started looking there. I checked with Irving, cause he swears it exists, and he gave me some dates, I still didn't find it.
Cause I mean, we don't plow one side the whole way, we
Right.
plow about half the road, they do about the other half. So I mean, that's why you'd think somewhere, somebody must have said, X, we'll
Right.
maintain both sides from here down, you take care of the other, but it's just odd that, ought to be pretty important, somebody ought to have a copy.
It turns out it's really important, because without it, you can't fix the road. And you really would want town approval on that.
Yeah, and Lois swears she had a copy of it, but it's not in the Line Road file, so,
And Dover should have it too.
Yeah.
yeah,
Really, both communities, it should be a warrant article.
yeah, it should be.
100%.
Okay, so there's another thing to work on.
I'll put the deputy clerk on cooking when she's not
Yeah.
overly busy, but.
Because we can approve all we want, but if they don't approve it,
Right,
it has to
they
work.
Well, and that's, I mean, we're, not to throw it up, but it's kinda like, you know, they we couldn't open up the four-wheelers on that side, cause they said no.
Correct.
Right.
But if we were supposed to maintain it, not them, well, how can they
Yeah,
say
how can
no?
they have jurisdiction over it?
Right, didn't really think of that at the time, cause it was, well, yeah, it's line roads down the middle,
Yeah.
but now you know what I mean?
Yeah, so it's one or the other, not
But
one.
with no ordinance or something in writing, it is what it is, and we own half, they own half. Which means you can't really do any major repairs without coordinating. Now, they might coordinate with us.
Well,
Well, then we don't
when I
supposed to plow
did
it,
talk
we
to
do.
Jack Lukey, he said, well, you know, he has like 5 line roads, I'm going, okay.
Yeah, they do.
They do.
Yeah, they do.
And he'd been negotiating, so, you know, I mean, if we have to, that's,
But that means he should have 5 contracts with 5 towns
That's
on the
right.
line roads.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's not really an excuse to say I have 5, because,
No, oh, no, it's
Not
not
our
an
problem.
excuse, but
Right,
it's just it is not.
He has a line road
It's not
file.
it's not a unique,
Yeah, no, they've
situation.
got
and-
a
with
big one
us,
with
with
Garland.
us,
Yeah.
yeah.
but I can also see that this was just a matter of a phone call, and 2 town managers agreed to it, and it got brought up in a meeting, and yep, this is what we're gonna do, and maybe there
And
wasn't.
they did.
I would not be surprised.
Because it doesn't mean,
Doesn't mean it's gonna work in 21.
correct.
No,
Okay. I think enough time on the warrant? We certainly got more work to do there,
Well,
but,
we also covered the solid waste
yep.
budget.
And we pretty much handled road commission, he isn't even here yet, so.
6E, you can touch that.
We have federal and state surplus, which is 6C. I got an application in case we wanted to get surplus from the state of Maine or the feds. I'm pretty sure we don't, but I thought I'd just bring it up so that you would know. And it doesn't tell you exactly what they have, and I'm not sure it's worth looking at and filling out and using my time, but if you guys have any opinion on that, I'm all ears.
I agree with your opinion.
Yeah,
Don't
if
waste-
after you investigate it, you think it's worth pursuing,
I think if the town of Sangerville was gonna own something, then we need to be in control of it and buy something legit the first time. I don't want something that somebody
Oh, yeah.
else says I don't want anymore. You
I
don't know what you're
that-
getting,
yeah.
you're bringing in a huge liability for maintenance and everything else. But
Well, I don't know of any of those kind of things that we want.
That's,
and I say, we're,
Yeah.
we're actually in the paring down
Yeah,
mode.
correct, that's what I'm saying, is I
Yeah, we
just,
don't need to acquire surplus.
Disabilities petition.
I received it this week via fax. It's basically saying that Governor Mills' executive order that requires masks is violating the rights of the disabled. And it came through, and there's a page where they want you to sign off or be on board with this. I will scan this and send it to you.
We don't have to authorize a petition.
No, it's not authorizing, they want you
they want you
to
to endorse it.
endorse it, basically, yes. Or,
I would say they
It's-
need to collect signatures just like everybody else.
Just like any other petition.
they did, Sarah they had until Monday or Tuesday to turn them in. They had one signature.
Oh, so it didn't,
But-
So they didn't pass.
pass.
Well, yeah, I mean, for here, they had one signature. It's the Sangerville Board of Selectmen resolved, they want you to pass a resolution.
No,
No.
Resolved that this resolution shall serve as a notice and a demand to the state government to cease and desist any and all activities, acts,
it
laws,
sounds like
orders,
the county
rules.
commissioner.
It is. But,
I mean,
no,
it's just not, okay,
no,
are we all set with that?
Yeah, I think we can just pass that.
all right.
Item 7, town manager's report.
Last meeting, we talked about county taxes, agreed that, yes, it was a big increase, but we all knew where. I had scheduled Mike Williams to come and speak with us, but told him that, he really didn't need to do that.
Yep.
The FDIC, I apologize, I have not tracked that down. I will have it for next meeting as to whether we.
Liability, yep.
Liability and need to spread our monies out. Board meetings from March, as I said earlier, there are 5 Wednesdays. And the first one is the 1st. I think if we go the middle two, the 10th and the 24th would be a better split, but that is,
That works.
Fine with me.
Yeah, that's,
And you also, I don't know if you're gonna try to get Forrester in for March,
Yeah.
but, so that might,
So,
yeah, that
Determine
gives a
it.
little bit.
5 good months, we need to do an extra one in there somewhere anyway.
yeah,
Yeah.
if he says he can
Tackle
come
this.
at a different time. but-
particularly if some of this stuff starts coming together, I don't mind having 3 meetings.
So I think we're gonna have to, if we're gonna really jump on this town office idea, we're probably gonna have to start scheduling some stuff.
Yeah.
And I wanted to let you know that the town clerk will be out for a medical issue for about 10 days. And we're scheduling and making sure that all the things that she covers are covered, and hopefully that it won't be any longer than that, and everything will go well, and she'll be back.
Road commissioner, mailboxes, plowing, contract.
The, this time of year, I always get some complaints about mailboxes. I've pulled out the policy, I've prepped the clerks on, what to tell everybody, and basically the policy is we don't pay for mailbox, you hang them at your own risk. Please follow the federal guidelines, and, sorry, Sorry, it's winter in Maine, and that's how things go. In terms of the plowing contract, as I said, I've started, mostly finished updating that. However, the current contractor threw out an offer that included purchasing the town garage. I don't know if that's something we have to add to the
It's a separate deal.
separate deal.
He's gonna have, as far as, well, my opinion, he would bid for the plowing as he would, and if he would like to make an offer on the building, that's something if we wanna entertain having as a warrant article, we can put it on there and
Okay.
talk about it or whatever, I mean, but
Yeah,
I wouldn't,
I think long before we advanced it to the warrant, we'd have a lot of questions for him.
correct.
Okay. Well, I can
But
send it.
anybody who made an offer on any real estate that the town owns, we should entertain it, we should at least listen to them.
So I'll get the contract estimates out and then, get the plow contractor to come in and make an
Yep.
actual.
Yeah,
Yeah, what he's thinking.
yeah, yeah.
Wouldn't be a bad idea to see what the property's worth. I mean, you get your town
Right.
assessment, but at the same token, if you know you got an offer coming, you might wanna reach
Figure
out
out
to
a
somebody
realtor.
just to get an idea what it's,
If we were to
Want me
list
to reach
it.
out to the same person who I did it for this building
I
or
don't remember
look,
who you did.
name's Sharon,
Yep,
Houghton?
Yep,
sure,
so that's a good start.
yep.
Yeah,
Yes.
I can do that as well. That wraps up most of everything, I think.
Okay, correspondence? None?
Just the things that we've already discussed.
Okay. Request for additional agenda items, anyone? No? Selectmen's concerns?
No?
You guys are both,
No concerns, but back on the topic of town property, why are you getting hold of the realtor?
Oh,
I
yeah.
was asked tonight, actually, on the way in, about the town corner lot. The little piece that we still own down there,
where the sign is.
around the side.
Oh, yes.
About if we may entertain selling that. So at the same token, when you're.
Get a
asking-
number for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Get
if I
a number.
remember right, that sign's like in the middle of, it's deeded part of the 2 numeral for that, but we own around it.
We don't know, yeah, they have the right to leave their sign there.
No, I think they own that piece of property.
We need to
Really?
know
Yeah.
what the deed looks like
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
I've seen the deed, I'll look it up again.
Yeah.
Because if you sold the land and someone built a building, his sign isn't gonna be much use, is it?
No, but they can't, because the sign, I think you'll find, is they actually physically own that piece of ground, the sign is on.
Oh, my.
Right, but if
In
you
the
own the
middle of
ground in
our-
front of it, and you build a building,
Well, I don't care about that, that's not
then
really.
your sign would, nobody would see it because it's behind a building.
I'm more worried the other way, is the value of that lot is greatly gonna be depreciated
Because of the,
if there's a piece in the middle of it taken up for a
Oh, yeah,
sign.
no,
Like
if
a
it's a
donut hole.
donut, if it's a donut, then it doesn't,
yeah, donut.
There's
hole.
not a lot of value
there.
No, no.
I'm pretty sure it's deeded in, but I will.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a donut.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
But there again, it's a donut that we are not getting a single penny of tax revenue out of.
Right.
So if there's anybody that wanted a donut and wanted
Mm-hmm.
to pay taxes on it, I'd entertain
they
that.
could build a silo.
That would be good. So, anyway, it
On
was brought up to me,
stilts,
so I
so
just
that
figured
they
I'd
could-
bring it up.
There you go. Yeah, that's good.
All right, any other concerns?
Nope.
Make motion to adjourn?
Second, it's 20 after 6 and we are adjourned.